Flirting boosts dopamine and oxytocin, which literally makes you and the other person feel good. So it's not just about you. Okay, you might be like, oh, flirting is so self-seeking. No, it's not. Scientifically, it makes him feel good too. Like you could have just made his whole day. You don't know. Just those friendly interactions, even if it's flirting or not, like it literally could make someone's whole day. So like you're doing a disservice to not have those playful interactions and practice flirting everywhere. If you think about it like that, who are you to deprive a man of his dopamine and oxytocin? Practice flirting everywhere for Flirty Girl Fall. Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to Model Behavior. It's Macy. It is Labor Day today, and I have spent all day taking care of my hot girl chores. Literally this morning I woke up and I had a call with Schaefer, who's my co-maid of honor for Margot's wedding. So I had a call with Schaefer this morning about Margot's bachelorette party. We got some final details hammered out, and then I went straight from that to a cycling class. I've been going, or a spin class, or whatever you want to call it. I have been going to this new place in Fort Collins called Reps and Restore. It opened up like a year and change ago, but I never went. But now they're on ClassPass, so I have been going to their spin classes because their choreo, it kind of feels like I'm training for war, like low-key. Like my first class that I went to, they do like a lot of like arm movements, and then you have to do like an X with your arms, and you have to go, ha! I'm not even kidding. It'd be like, position 2, 3, 2, ha, 2, 3, 2, ha. Okay, I need to like not dance so much. I'm like shaking the camera. But anyways, it's like pretty intense choreo. I do feel like I'm either in a cult or training for war, but I kind of like it. I think that's how they get you. That's how they get you. Speaking of weddings, my friend Paul is getting married this weekend. My dear, dear friend Paul. Paul is my good friend from college. Margot is also a part of that friend group. We had this like epic study group in college, and it was me, Paul, Margot, our friend Spencer, our friend Ryan. I'm trying to think of who else was in that friend group, or our friend Chloe. And we were all like molecular biology majors, and I've talked about this before, but I went to a pretty small school in Montana because I got recruited to play basketball there. And I was majoring in molecular biology and minoring in technical communication. But Paul was a part of our epic study group, and that's how we became friends. And so he is now a doctor. Like everybody from that epic study group is either like a doctor or a lawyer or like me. Like I'm the only one that has like a research job, like a PhD. But like it's pretty cool, I will say. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, we were like nerdy in college, but like look at us now. We're still nerdy, but we just have more money. Anyways, he's getting married this weekend in Palisade. And so that's on the Western Slope in Colorado, if you don't live in Colorado, because a lot of times I talk on here and I'm like very much talking to like all the girls that are in Colorado. And lately I've been looking at my analytics and I'm getting a lot more listeners from other states, like a ton, and also a ton from other countries. Like a lot from Canada. I love Canadians. If you're Canadian and you're listening to this right now, just know that I love you. I love Canada. It's the best. But anyways, I miss Coffee Crisp. It's my favorite. And also those Nestle Aero bars. Those are like, I love going to Canada and getting the Canadian candy that you can't get in the US because your candy is the best. It's so good. I also have some listeners in the UK. So if you're in London and you're listening to this, hello. Sorry, please stop. Please don't turn it off. I need to start addressing people like not just in Colorado. So just know, like, girls, I see you. I see you in Canada. I see you in the UK. I see you in Texas. I have a lot of listeners that are in Texas. Hey, girls, I'm so happy that you're here. I see you everywhere else. I'm just so happy that you're here. It's really, really cool. I had another little moment the other day where a girl came up to me and said that she listened to my podcast. And I was like, that's crazy. Thank you. I will say I feel like we've built like such a good community. And this is honestly my favorite like mode of social media. Like my podcast is like my absolute favorite because I feel like everybody that listens to the podcast, you guys are just like so cool and like so chatty, and it's just like such a fun time. I really feel like we're just like having a conversation, and obviously you guys know I love to talk a lot. So I talk a lot, so sometimes I just learn to tune myself out. But yeah, so thank you to everybody who's listening or who's started listening. I'm so happy you're here. Really off topic, but yeah, Paul's wedding is next weekend, so I'm excited to see a lot of my friends from college. I also have some friends from high school that are also friends with Paul. I met Paul in college. He's went to a different school, but a lot of my guy friends from high school are also friends with him. So I'm excited to see them and catch up because it's been a very long time. And yeah, it's gonna be a good weekend. And it's also Palisade peach season. And since the wedding is in Palisade, we're gonna go to a farmer's market and stock up on all of those peaches. Like, I'm going to stuff my face with peaches. Like, my blood will become part peach because they're so much better than any other peach I've tasted. And the season is like, this is very suggestive. I'm talking about like the fruit. But anyways, they're very flavorful. Okay, moving on. In last episode, what did I even talk about? Oh, I talked about kisses. I talked about like first kisses or like a kiss on a first date. And some of the feedback I got from you guys is very valid. You're like, it's not that deep. Like, if kiss him if you want, don't kiss him if you don't feel like it. But you may not know, or you may forget, that I was raised in a very conservative Christian household where talking to boys was a big no. I had very, very strict parents. And so like when I first got into dating, I really didn't know like how to date. And so I feel like it's valuable to share my experiences as like someone who was very shy and like uncertain in dating, because I do feel like there are ways that you can kind of like make it scientific, and so it's like less intimidating. Because when I first started dating, when I was in college, I was so like intimidated and scared to talk to boys. And so like one of my biggest superpowers I would say that I've developed over the years is just developing a lot of confidence in dating and confidence in like what I like and what I don't like. And so that was kind of my approach when I was talking about should you or should you not kiss on a first date. Like, some of you are like, oh, this is not a value add. Like, I've been dating for years. I have it in the bag. Okay, great. That's great. I was more talking to girls who maybe were kind of like unsure of themselves or like didn't have like the confidence in dating. It was helpful to me to develop some of those things. Like, once I got more confidence in my ability to say no, it actually like really, really opened up my dating life a lot, and it really increased my confidence. And I actually started saying like yes to going on dates with more guys because I was like, I don't know, less scared. I don't even know. Anyways, so we talked about that. And then at the end of the episode, I did say that it is time for Flirty Girl Fall. So I kind of want to talk about that just briefly today, about things that I am doing to prepare for and execute Flirty Girl Fall, because girl, it's gonna be so fun. Like I said in last episode, we have our reclusive mountain girl summers here. I go up and teach in Montana. I'm in the mountains, I'm backpacking, I'm fishing, I'm spending time at home, I'm reconnecting with my roots, Hannah Montana style. And then when I get back, I'm just like ready to go. Okay, so like we're gonna have fun this fall. Okay, if you're listening to this and you're not looking on the video, I'm making very deep eye contact with you right now, and I want you to like repeat after me. I am going to have a flirty girl fall. Okay, say that. I am going to have a flirty girl fall. You might be listening to this and you might be like, girl, I'm married. Which, side note, the funniest thing to me is that some of my friends have sent videos of their babies listening to my podcast, and they're like, wow, your voice is the only thing that gets them to stop crying. And like, that is so funny to me. And I've told them this because like when I interact with babies in real life, obviously I normally wear my glasses. I haven't been wearing them lately to film because I feel like I'm going to put them on right now so you can see the reflection of my ring light off of my glasses. While I do enjoy being able to see, it is a little distracting for the video, so that's why I haven't been wearing my glasses. I'm not like totally blind, but I'm kind of blind. So anyways, I think babies see my glasses and they just don't like them for some reason, and so then they start crying. So to hear some of my married friends say that like my voice, the podcast, is the only thing that calms their babies down is crazy. And then I'm also like, girl, make sure that it's a PG episode. One of my friends, she sent me a video. Okay, so I had this episode up for a while, and then I privated it. I talked about the original length and width report, which if you are new here, you haven't been here before. The length and width report was basically a time where I would kind of go through my DMs and talk about all of the diabolical things that men say to me in my DMs. I generally have not been giving length and width report items as of late because, one, I haven't received any lately. And also Two, I kind of wanted to keep it a little bit more PG because, girl, my contract is up at the university in 2 years. I gotta find a job after this. I'm applying for faculty positions, and my worst nightmare is that someone on the review board finds my podcast and finds an episode of me talking about the length and width report. Like, that is so unprofessional. If I ever see you guys in person, just like we can just rehash the length and width report together, but I just can't be putting that on the internet. So one of my friends like sent me a video of her baby listening to episode 10, and I was like, girl, turn it off. I know that he doesn't speak English yet, but like I don't want to do irreparable damage to like his little psyche. That was tough. But anyways, if you are married or in a relationship and you are listening to this episode and you're like, this is irrelevant to me, I don't need a flirty girl fall, I already have a man, this is absolutely relevant to you because flirty girl fall is more than just about flirting. It is about stepping into your confidence. It is about stepping into who you are as a person and embracing it 100%. And that's what I've decided for myself is like sometimes I feel like, first of all, I have like different sides to me, okay? And I have different friend groups from like every like facet of my life. And so sometimes I'm with my modeling friends and I'll just randomly like drop like some microbiology facts and they're just kind of like, whoa, like that's so crazy, you're so smart. And I almost get like self-conscious about it. And similarly, when I'm around like my academic friends, my microbiology friends, I don't even think they know that I like model or like have a podcast or do social media. I just feel like I'm kind of like I'm like hiding part of who I am, which is fine. But I also, one of my goals for the fall is to kind of embrace who I am more unapologetically and just be more authentic because I want to be like a very genuine friend to my friends. And I feel like when I'm trying to hold parts of myself back or when I'm trying to like relate to them too much and not like overwhelm people with like, I don't know, my other side of myself, I feel like it almost could be damaging to my friendships because I'm not being fully authentic and genuine. So how am I supposed to be show up for them very authentically, you know? And I was really like journaling about this and thinking about this in the past couple of weeks. And I'm locked into back to school season. It's almost like my New Year's. I do like New Year's resolutions too, but this feels like the start of a new year for me. And so I really take the time to like think about what I'm going to do, what I can do to rebrand. Obviously, we're all up in Pinterest picking out new fall outfits, new styles, trying to revamp the capsule wardrobe. And so, but also, yeah, a lot of it is like personality, personal development stuff. And so that's what Flirty Girl Fall is. It's about embracing yourself authentically, showing up for yourself authentically so that then you can show up for other people authentically and invest in those relationships, because if you don't water your own garden, how are you going to water somebody else's? Is that even a real saying? I don't know. So I just have 3 points here because I want to talk a little bit more about Flirty Girl Fall and what it means. I've had so many fun conversations with my friends since the last episode came out, and I was just like, they're all like, yeah, Flirty Girl Fall. And I'm like, yeah, girl, let's like make this a thing. Anyways, so step number 1, this is what I wrote down. Set the tone. Romanticize the vibe. You got to set the tone for Flirty Girl Fall. So like, this is where kind of Pinterest comes in. You kind of got to like embrace the fall vibes. You got to be like, okay, it's back to school. Even if you don't go back to school, like I work at a university, but obviously I haven't had my last first day of school was like 4 years ago, which I know I'm 30. You're like, ugh. Okay, I was in grad school for 5 years. So, but anyways, even if you're not going back to school, still call it back to school season. You got to swap hot girl summer for flirty girl fall, okay? Switch those aesthetics up. Make sure you kind of like romanticize it and start thinking about journaling about like what your flirty girl fall will look like, what kind of outfits you're going to wear, what kind of events you're going to go to, what kind of hangs you're going to do with your friends, what kind of progress are you going to make in your career, like embracing the boss girl energy, like all of that. So yeah, obviously when I think about fall, I'm thinking about boots with skirts. My friend Megan is the boot with skirt queen. She's a journalist, and literally that's how we became friends. Is I like slid into her Instagram DMs. She came up on my Discover page and I was like, your outfits are amazing, where did you get your boots? And that's literally how we became friends. But yeah, I'm thinking like boots, oversized sweaters, obviously like pumpkin spice lattes. I haven't had one yet, but now that it's September, I'm going to let myself get one. August is a bit too soon for me because in my mind, in my heart, summer is never long enough. If it could be summer all the time, I would be happy. Also, just like candles. I know it's so basic. It's like, okay, is this flirty girl fall or Christian girl autumn? But like, stick with me, okay? Um, yeah, I have written down, and I already talked about this, but Flirty Girl Fall is about leaning into main character energy. You gotta make eye contact with a cute man across the coffee shop. My favorite thing is like, and I always joke about this with my friends, but a low key is kind of like a state of mind. If you're single, if you walk into a coffee shop, you have to be like, oh my gosh, what if someone falls in love with me? And I started saying that as like a joke to my friends. I was like, oh, I can't. Like, what if he falls in love with me? But it's just, it's such a fun little flirty mindset to be like, oh, he'll fall in love with me, but. And that's kind of the vibe. Okay. So I just want you to envision walking into a coffee shop with your cute fall outfit on, with your boots, with your sweater, and ordering your cozy fall drink and sitting down and working on that paper or that project you have at work, or I don't know, adding to your vision board. Think about whatever your mission is for the day, and also just think about like making eye contact with a cute guy across the coffee shop. The best. That's the stuff of life, quite frankly. And if you're not single, you can still do that, but like make eye contact with your husband or something. Sorry. All right. So, actually, I did find a fact that was interesting about Flirty Girl Fall. So, like romanticizing your vibe, setting the tone, there's actually like real psychology behind seasonal shifts boosting attraction. So, people crave warmth and connection when the weather cools. So, cuffing season is not just like a phrase or thing that something that people say. It's like scientifically proven that cuffing season is a real thing. As it gets colder, people are like, "Oh, I just want to cozy up by the fire." And I think like, so just be aware, like, yeah, it's cuffing season, but for you it's flirty girl fall. Like, these guys are trying to cuff you, okay, not the other way around, and I stand by that. Step 2 to flirty girl fall: you need to have playful interactions and remember that the stakes are low. The stakes have never been lower. And I tell myself that quite frequently because, to be honest, yeah, especially in 2025, like, we all have amazing careers. We've all built amazing lives for ourselves. We don't need men for anything. We just want them. Unless like you're not into that, which is also cool. But like, we don't need them for anything. We just want them. And so like, just remember that the stakes have never been lower. And therefore, and this is important, if you are single, practice flirting everywhere. Flirting is like a muscle. You have to practice it. So that's part of the reason why when I come back from my reclusive mountain woman summers, I'm like a little bit dumb socially, okay? Like, I forget how to talk to boys because all I'm doing is like talking to my students and like my family. And I'm just like, girl, I forgot how to do this. So remember, practice flirting everywhere, okay? So be intentionally more playful with strangers. Don't be so serious. Girl, I was always like, had my glasses on. I'm like all business all the time. And once I started taking time to just be more playful with people, like whether or not they're single, you don't always have to be like, ugh, what if he falls in love with me? You could just be like for example, I went out to dinner the other night to my favorite bar. Well, not my favorite bar, but my favorite bar to eat at. It's called Rare Italian. If you're in Fort Collins, it's delicious Italian food, really nice bar, really good vibes. And I was sitting next to this couple and the girl started talking to me, and basically she had just moved here, and so we like we talked a lot, we exchanged numbers, like all of that stuff. And so like that was really fun. I don't know, you just got to be like approachable. Be more playful with strangers, whether that's like baristas or like classmates or even coworkers. Just like lighten up, you know. And this is more me telling myself this than you. I'm not trying to be like, oh, you're so serious, lighten up, but I am so serious. So sometimes I have to be reminded to like lighten up and practice flirting everywhere. And literally, flirting when you're a girl is so easy. It's all about like when you make eye contact with someone, that's like already portrays so much confidence. So if you see a guy that you think is cute, just make eye contact with him and smile. You're going to feel so bashful at first, but that also kind of adds to the cuteness. You're like, oh, I'm so bashful. Like, make eye contact and smile. You can use small teases, compliments, a little smirk. You could practice in the mirror. I do that all the time. I'm not ashamed to say that. So like flirting doesn't have to mean commitment, okay? Like, yeah, they'll probably come up to you, obviously, and be like, oh, what's your name? But doesn't mean you like have to like pursue that any further. It's just practice. Like, remember, I don't know if you listened to my hot girl summer school episode. I talked about these guys that like we approached at, well, we didn't approach, they approached us at a bar in Santa Monica, and it was like such good practice of being like, okay, yeah, literally all like we had to do is look over there and smile, and like the more you like kind of just get comfortable with like putting the vibes out there. Like, okay, side note, you remember Dumb and Dumber? Probably not, but that's like one of my favorite movies of all time. In Dumb and Dumber, they like go to this bar in Aspen and they're wearing like these ridiculous suits. So one of them is wearing like an all blue suit and the other one is wearing an all orange suit with top hats. And Jim Carrey goes like, I'm gonna go over to the bar and put out the vibes. And like that's what Flirty Girl Fall is about. You got to go over to the bar, or if you don't drink, go to the coffee shop, or go on your little like hot girl walk and put out the vibes. Yeah, flirting boosts dopamine and oxytocin, which literally makes you and the other person feel good. So it's not just about you. Okay, you might be like, ugh, flirting is so self-seeking. No, it's not. Scientifically, it makes him feel good too. Like you could have just made his whole day. You don't know. Just those friendly interactions, even if it's flirting or not, like it literally could make someone's whole day. So like you're doing a disservice to not have those playful interactions and practice flirting everywhere. If you think about it like that, who are you to deprive a man of his dopamine and oxytocin? Practice flirting everywhere for Flirty Girl Fall. All right, step 3. Obviously, I put this in here for myself. Date like a scientist. So what I mean by dating like a scientist is it's important to practice curious exploration. It doesn't have to be so serious. Flirty Girl Fall is about stepping into your confidence and not taking things so seriously and looking at it as a growing experience of learning more of who you are and how you can step into your main character energy more. So yeah, approach dating with curiosity, not pressure. So you try new activities, put yourself in situations that you wouldn't normally put yourself in. So you could go to like pumpkin patches, haunted houses, cozy bars. And like before you're like, oh, but I don't have friends to go with. Like I do stuff like that by myself. And you're like, oh, I could never do that. I see people alone and I think they're so weird. That's not my problem. If someone thinks that I'm weird when I'm going out and doing something by myself, like I will never know. And I'm having a good time. And you make friends as you go. And like, obviously, I'm a very outgoing person. So some of my friends that are a little bit more introverted are like, girl, like that's a lot. You can start small. Just go to a new coffee shop. You don't have to be going to like the haunted house by yourself. I've actually never gone to a haunted house by myself, but I have gone to a pumpkin patch by myself and it was quite relaxing and fun. So I don't know. It's up to you. Anyways, also you could ask fun, unexpected questions. So just like mix it up a little bit when you're talking to people, like make it a little fun. Yeah, and especially with flirting, and you guys know I always talk about this on here. Dating is just research. When you are dating, you are just collecting data points in order to find out what you like, what you don't like, build your confidence as a researcher slash flirty girl slash dater. And yeah, just treat it as like dating, collecting data points on attraction rather than like trying to find the one. You have to take pressure off of yourself. Like I said, when I turned 30, I was like, and like if you're older than 30, you're like, girls, shut up. But like I literally was like, I thought I'd be married by now. I thought I would have kids, but I'm also like, girl, like you were in grad school for like your entire 20s, or like you were pursuing other interests. Like, don't put so much pressure on it. Like I said, even though I thought that there would be more pressure with being 30, actually there's like a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. And truly, the stakes have never been lower for me when it comes to dating. So just remember that like if you reframe that mindset from like, oh, it's cuffing season, I have to find a man, and just be like, no, we're going to go out and we're going to flirt. We're going to collect data points. We're going to treat it like a curious investigation rather than like putting pressure on it. It's also scientifically proven to lower your cortisol. And it also just keeps flirting light and exciting. Like you want to be putting out good vibes. Like if you are talking to someone and they're very much like, okay, I get this a lot being a church girl, okay? And I love my church. Especially I found such a good church here in Fort Collins. But like I remember growing up going to church, especially when there were like you were younger and more people were single, because Christians get married so young. I remember like going to like youth group and the guys kind of just like sizing up the girls, like, which one of you will be my wife and bear my children? And it's like, ew, stop. Literally stop. So like, don't do that, because I've experienced that firsthand and it is like such an ick for me. And sometimes I found myself being like too all business about it. And it makes sense because as you get older, you're like, I know what I like, I know what I don't like, I don't want to waste my time. But try to find some balance there. Like, that's why I always say like first date is supposed to be fun, then second date you can get into the nitty gritty and the brass tacks. And like that's just my opinion. Like if you don't even want to waste your time, you can get into it on the first date. But like in my experience, I have taken dating like way too seriously in the past. Like I know I have a lot of confidence in like what I'm looking for, but like I wasn't having fun. And dating is supposed to be fun. Even when it's not fun, you have to find a way to make it silly and fun because or else we're not going to survive, not in this economy. So, yeah. I would say Flirty Girl Fall is not about finding a boyfriend. Like I said, it's about stepping into your confidence. It's not about finding a boyfriend. It's about being curious, playful, and magnetic while also living your best, coziest life. So, yeah, my 3 points: romanticize your vibe or set the tone. Make sure you have playful interactions. The stakes have never been lower, so practice flirting everywhere. And step number 3, date like a scientist. Approach dating with a playful curiosity. I don't know why that sounded so like clinical the way I said that. Anyways, you got to act like a scientist, okay? But like you're literally just testing hypotheses. Like it's all a big research experiment, okay? And so you're just collecting data points. And when you view dating as just collecting data points, it takes so much pressure off. Yeah. So yeah, Flirty Girl Fall isn't about finding a boyfriend. Nay, nay, nay. It is about stepping into your main character energy. It is about stepping into your confidence. It's about being curious and playful and also living your best, coziest life. If you're embarking on Flirty Girl Fall this fall, please let me know. I want to hear things that you are doing to embrace your Flirty Girl Fall. We're in this together. I can't wait to hear your stories and share more of what I'm up to. And so, yeah, thanks for listening. And I can't wait to talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye.